Good morning, Marvel Rival nerds. This video was recorded live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Judgment Monk. Be sure to come by and check it out. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Jump over here. Alright, so we're going to be covering Season 6.5 tier list a little bit differently. We're only going to be covering the high-ranked play. So we're just going to jump in and get started. This is based off of all of the pick rates and win rates from the Marvel Rivals Heroes Hot List. So we're just gonna start from the top with Adam, and Adam was actually given the new ability to fly as well as float when he uses his soul bond, and it made the character a lot more fun. I said it when these changes were first announced. I don't know if that changes how well he's going to do in the meta. Yeah, it allows him to play different positions, allows him to play a little bit more aggressively because he has the ability to escape. But people still have to hit shots, people still have to understand how to use his cooldowns. I didn't think he was going to take a huge step up, and I was right. So statistically, he landed in the C tier for Grandmaster and above. Next up, we have Angela. Angela has always been a menace in high-ranked games. Just bullies the tanks and bullies people and kidnaps people or pushes them off the map. She's always been a really good character in the higher ranks, and that didn't change. A lot of her statistical outputs are the same. Angela's pick rate and win rate didn't really change too much. The pick rate did go slightly down because she saw a couple of nerfs, but in this patch, I think they hit her a little bit too hard. Yes, she's doing well in the higher ranked games, but I don't know if it called for the long dash cooldown between charges. I think she filled a very different niche. Other than that, Angela's did stay in the A tier, but we'll see how this changes after this rework. So next up we got Blade, and if you know, in the higher ranks, Blade is not good. Honestly, his win rate actually went down, which is surprising. I think they just keep giving him micro buffs until he feels good, and I think Season 7 they might have done a little bit too much. I think the bonus health is going to be extremely impactful, and hopefully it actually brings him into the meta without being too annoying. For Season 6.5, Blade did land in the F tier, and I see a huge rise, at least in his pick rate, for this upcoming season. He might fly up to like the B tier just from these changes. Next up, now we have BP. And BP might be a raid boss in the lower ranks, but in the higher ranks, he honestly has a lot of counters. All you have to really do is make Panther miss one of his dashes, and his entire kit is wiped. Hopefully, the new changes with the omnidirectional spinning kick will do him some justice, but last season, he wasn't very good in the higher ranks, and he landed in the D tier. So next up, we have Bucky, and everybody thinks that Bucky is a server admin, that he's one of the best characters in the game, but statistically he's awful in the higher ranks. He's one of the characters that as you go from bronze to GM, he raises in pick rate but decreases in win rate, and I can't really explain why. A lot of people assume it's because he's a comfort pick and people play him in the wrong situations, but it doesn't explain him being 42% win rate. I think they need to hone in on one playstyle and not make him a jack of all trades. And the fact that they gave him a nerf, even while performing so poorly, is really going to be eye-opening for this character. However, Season 6.5, Bucky did land in the D tier. And people are going to overreact about that, but I promise the stats are not on his side. Next up, we have Cap. Captain America, obviously in the higher rank play, is very good, but he just fell off this season, especially with Elsa in the game. After breaking his animation cancel, they gave him a buff to his regular melee. I don't know if that's going to do enough. So they really do have to do something with Cap that isn't, game breaking, because he can be a very annoying character to deal with. In Season 6.5, Cap did land in the B tier. I think this might honestly go down, unfortunately, and they're gonna have to tweak his numbers yet again in the upcoming season. Next up, we have Cloak and Dagger. Obviously, in the lower ranks, one of the highest pick rate characters that we have. But in the higher rank play game, after she got that buff where she can throw 2 Terror Capes, it made her pick rate skyrocket. And this season is even more of that. Yeah, Cloak saw the 3rd highest increase in pick rate this season, and her win rate stayed above 50%. She's performing spectacularly. And with that, she actually landed in the S tier for the high ranks for the first time in a while. She's being seen everywhere, and she honestly might need a slight nerf in the upcoming season. But with the 3 bans per side, I think Cloak and Dagger is going to be banned a lot this season. We have Daredevil. Daredevil is the best DPS in the game, in my opinion. He's really, really hard to stop. There's so many resources that need to go into taking care of a Daredevil. He's just a different type of diver. And I'm really glad that they hit him with so many nerfs in this season. The dedicated one tricks might make it work, but it'll be much harder to get value from this character. He did land in the S tier for season 6.5, but season 7 I do see that declining. I cross my fingers that that will decline. DPS pool. So DPS pool actually started seeing a trend up towards the end of the season. A lot of players were practicing and trying to figure out his gameplay and figure out his kit. He was written off as the worst Deadpool of the bunch very early on, and statistically he's still very, very bad. His win rate is atrocious. He had a 45% win rate, and that's with almost nobody playing him, a 1% pick rate. So low pick rate, low win rate automatically puts you in the F tier. But with all the people experimenting with him, he might actually see a little bit more play, and they might have a defined play style for him. So we might see a slight uptick in that win rate as well. So maybe he might move up to the D tier next season, but we'll see. Alright, moving on to Elsa, the newest character in the game, and she was absolutely broken. However, this tier list does have a weakness. I can't include ban rates because NetEase does not provide them for me. With that, her pick rate did get hindered due to all the bans that she saw this season, but her win rate was through the roof. And even with that win rate, it couldn't carry her to the S tier, so she actually landed in the A tier. With the nerfs that she saw this season, I don't think it changes too much. I think they needed to be a little bit more heavy-handed. Her damage output, even with the changes that she saw in the emergency patch, didn't do enough. So I think they need to take away, not her movement. I think that keeps her very unique. But she outdamages and outpaces everybody. It's kind of ridiculous. So until they deal with that, she's going to be getting her ultimate nonstop. It has very low counter ability. So we're going to see her up at the top for another season or two before things actually get changed up. Who we got next? Emma. Now, shout out to Flats for finally saying it. Emma's kind of poopy. Obviously, she can feel oppressive, especially if you're playing against a very good Emma player who keeps their charge up at 100. She can't really trade with the tanks effectively like she used to. She used to be a demon against Thing and Thor, but they kind of brawl with her very, very well. And if she tries to go in the backline, she doesn't have near enough protection to survive that. I think the buffs that they gave her this season might do a lot, even though they decreased the damage reduction on her diamond form. They increased the fall off for her ultimate and gave her damage resistance in her ultimate. And after that, they decreased the time on her diamond form. So she is kind of poopy statistically. She landed in the D tier, but I can see her moving up at least a little bit. And players have to let go of that preconceived notion that Emma's busted. Like, she's been doing pretty poorly for 3 or 4 seasons now. Moving on. We're going to go to Mr. Fantastic. A lot of players say he's not good. He's very, very bad against poke. That is true. But if we're being honest, he doesn't do that bad. In the lower ranks, obviously, he's much better. His win rate's at like 53, 54%. But he's above 50% in the high ranks as well. But he has such a low pick rate, and that's really what's dragging him down. But right now, he landed in the C tier. He's really good at anti-dive. I think more people should give him a chance in that role, dealing with Spider-Man, dealing with Angela especially. All right, next up, we have Gambit. And again, this is one of those characters that we don't get to see a lot. He's banned almost every game. But when he is able to be played, there's always a Gambit on each team, which means that his pick rate is also just perpetually at 50% no matter what, because you get a win and a loss. So statistically, he looks like he doesn't do anything. But we all know that Gambit's a broken character. I do like the nerfs that they did to his ultimate, reducing the duration, as well as lowering the speed and taking down the ult charge acceleration. Little nerfs like that are going in the right direction without pushing him off a cliff. So I think more players should be open to letting Gambit through and see how it goes. I still think that Invis is a much better neutral healer, and with a lot of the ultimates not being up as much, I think Invis is going to pull way ahead. With that being said, Gambit did land in the B tier. He should be much higher, but his pick rate doesn't allow it. After Gambit, we have Groot, and Groot's one of the best tanks in the game, hands down. However, there's not a ton of tank players that know how to play Groot effectively. He outputs crazy amount of damage. He blocks pretty much everything with his walls, and his ult is one of the shortest ones to get. I'm surprised that he doesn't get played more, and because of his pick rate, he actually landed in the A tier. But I think Groot's a S tier pick. All right, next up we have Hawkeye, and Hawkeye actually received an emergency nerf to his max damage, and it was quite sizable. He's still very good, and that one shot is still annoying, but doesn't happen as often as you think. After that emergency nerf, he actually fell off quite a bit. He's by far the biggest loser of this season. His win rate shot way down, his pick rate shot way down, but he's still banned consistently. So he's just in a really bad spot, even though he's a good character. With all that said, Hawkeye actually landed in the C tier, but that doesn't mean he didn't deserve the 25 health nerf that he saw. So we'll keep an eye on Hawkeye to see how he trends in Season 7. Next up is Hela. And a lot of people say that Hela and Phoenix are pretty much the same character. In the highest level, Phoenix does have a lot more utility and probably should be better, but the stats don't say it. The stats say that Hela is a lot more consistent. Her win rate's much higher, and her pick rate isn't that far behind. So Hela actually lands in the B tier, and maybe that might be due to the Namor team up, but I think that Hela is strong even after the emergency nerf. Next up, we have my boy, the Incredible Hulk. And what can I say? He's the best character in the game, right? No. He still has a lot of problems. He still has a lot of counters. Hulk's trends have actually gone down, but his win rate is still above 54%. Hulk is a very hard character to play. But once you lock him down, he can impact the game in so many different ways. A 54% win rate in the highest ranks is one of the highest up there. And statistically, he's in the A tier. Now, why did they give this A tier character more buffs? It's because of the public perception. Everybody said that Hulk is so bad. He gets hit by every CC, which is true. But it's really hard to tell me that this character doesn't do it all. And the stats, back him up. What I predict is going to happen is more players are going to try him out. That win rate's actually going to go down, even though the buffs came through this season. So look out for more Hulk in your games, and just do what you have to do to counter him. Make him not enjoy the game, and you will have a very easy time watching him switch off. Next up, one of the most broken characters in the game, in my opinion, is Invisible Woman. And I don't think the nerfs that they gave her in Season 7 are going to do enough. She was very easily an S tier character in Season 6.5. Even with these nerfs, she's still going to be an S tier character. The best we can wish for is that she falls down due to being banned so often. Alright, next up. Who do we got? Iron Fist. Look, I know Iron Fist isn't the greatest character ever, but he's one of the most annoying to play against as a tank player. He applies infinite pressure, and we don't have the stopping power to get him off of us fast enough. He will look us in the eye and punch us to death and get out before both tanks have anything to say about it. It's very, very annoying to play against. However, against most other characters, he doesn't do enough, which is why he only landed in the B tier this season. And I think if you give him any more buffs, he's going to be an actual problem like in Season 2. So let's just keep him where he's at and hope people just don't pick him. After Iron Fist is obviously Iron Man. And I really like the Iron Man changes that they gave him. No, they're not going to be meta defining. But he's been in a very bad place for a long time. He landed in the D tier for Season 6.5. But extending his overdrive mode with every KO is going to be a huge W. Make this character fun. Make this character powerful. He still has a huge hitbox, and people should be able to take care of him relatively easily. So let's, enjoy Iron Man while we can. Hopefully we see him move up this list. Next up, Jeffrey the Land Shark. I need to understand something. Even in the higher ranks, this character's picked way too often. I understand he's fun, but it doesn't feel good. If you're playing Jeff, if you're a dedicated Jeff player, ask for triple support. Your normal heals and damage isn't bursty enough to feel like you're doing anything. You might come away with the MVP. You might come away with the biggest numbers, but in basketball they call it the eye test. The eye test doesn't look good. Jeff, you landed in the B tier with your win rates and pick rates, but again, his pick rate is carrying him up to this rank. If we're being completely honest, he has the third highest pick rate of all supports. And that's ridiculous if you ask me. Alright, we're going to keep moving. Next up, we got Loki. Loki, obviously, is one of the best heroes in the game. He has escapability, he has offense, he has defense. His ultimate can be literally anything you need in a pinch. With that said, he did get a slight nerf to his ammo, which makes him a little bit more inconsistent. You might have to reload in an inopportune time. But that wasn't a big enough change to impact him that much. He still has a really high win rate and a decently high pick rate for the supports. So with that said, he did land in the A tier and didn't receive any changes going into Season 7. So he's going to stay in this slot. However, I have seen him be banned a lot more frequently. So look for that, especially with our 3 bans in each team. Next up, Luna Snow. Honestly, Luna has this reputation of being an OP healer, and I've said it for a while now. Her single target heals aren't enough anymore. There's so much damage and so much grouped damage in the game that she can't keep up. Her numbers might look insane because her burst healing is really felt for that one person, but everybody else is really feeling the pain when Luna can't heal them all at the same time. She has clap for 3 seconds? It doesn't feel good to have Luna as your only main healer. So this season, when Invis, Loki, and Gambit are all banned and you have to play a Luna, make sure you understand that and rotate your tanks. Come back to her as DPS. Don't make her look around too much, because she's gonna, 1, miss, and 2, miss out on a lot of free value. Her ultimate's still strong, but she's been in a bad spot for a while, landing in the D tier, which is why they're giving her buffs. Everybody makes the joke like, oh, they got to take care of Luna Snow. They got to take. She's not doing good. Yes, give her buffs. Moving on. Next up, we got the king of the game, Magneto. There are seasons where he feels really, really good. There's seasons where he feels like a lot of fun. And I kind of like the changes that they gave him. It's a little bit more selfish. Usually when you play Mag, you're always taking care of people, blocking off damage of somebody retreating or bubbling them so they can get out. But this time, his bubble has a reduced cooldown, and he's able to take things into his own hands. The fastball meteor is going to be an excellent impact to these support ults, and we get them a lot slower now, so make them impactful. Obviously, Magneto is always going to be really, really good in the higher levels, but we actually had a tank take a huge step upwards in Season 6.5, so that actually made Mag drop in pick rate quite a bit, and he landed in the A tier. He still has 17% pick rate in the higher ranks. It's ridiculous. But that is nothing in comparison to the other tank that's above him, and we'll get there. Alright, after Mag, we have Magic. Magic actually saw a decline. Not in her win rate. She still has a crazy win rate. 57% in the lower ranks and 56% in the higher ranks. But after all the Kingsman drama, she did fall off just a little bit in her pick rate. But you can't argue with that win rate. Maybe it's because people know when to not play her. They don't play her into her counters. But a good Magic is oppressive, apparently. 56% win rate can't be argued with. You know, Penny has something similar, but doesn't stand on top like Magic does. Let's keep moving. Mantis. Now, this one's interesting. Mantis historically has a very good win rate. Players play her in triple support, and the damage boost goes crazy. All that's still true. I cannot explain why her win rate has declined so much. Her pick rate's never been great, but her win rate has always been carrying her. This season, Mantis didn't do great, and I'm a little worried. I think the introduction of Elsa introduces too much damage that she cannot keep up with in any capacity. I think you can play Mantis in a 2 support, but not if Elsa's legal. She didn't see any changes in this season, and I think Mantis should get some love, especially after Adam was given something to make him a bit more fun. Let's make Mantis more fun. She has so much to manage throughout a game. Let's give her something a little bit more brain dead. But with all that said, Mantis did land in the B tier. I think she should be higher. We got Moon Knight. And to be honest, he's still one of the highest picked DPS in the game. You know, there are some really good Moon Knights out there that get their ult in seconds and constantly split off the tanks and are getting picks. But even the bad Moon Knights feel like they're doing just as well. Throw your Ankh, throw your Moonblade, get some kills, get some shields. You get dove, you jump away. You get dove again, you just grapple away. I'm not saying he's OP. He's just annoying. And if I'm going to ban somebody, I'd rather ban the annoying character than the broken character every single time. Moon Knight only landed in the B tier. Next up, we have Namor. Apparently, he's not doing so hot. He has a 46% win rate in the higher ranks, and a lot of people are actually picking him. This might end up turning into the next Bucky, where we think he's good. He is picked a lot, but he just doesn't perform, and I don't know why. They really gave a lot more power to Namor and took away power from their team up, and I thought that was the right move. But he actually went down in both pick rate and win rate, and I can't really explain it. He landed in the C tier, and I think we need to do a little bit more for Namor. Not too much, because we don't want him to be oppressive, but a little bit more for Namor. Next, we got Penny Parker, who's always a go on these lists due to her crazy win rate. Obviously, with the removal of her double mind She did see a huge decrease in pick rate, but in season 6.5, everything stayed consistent. She's been one of the most consistent characters. Actually, her win rate went up somehow. And you know what? You have to respect it. The penny players are just good. Dedicated penny players are scary. And she landed in the A tier, and maybe she needs to be looked at again. Alright. Next up, Phoenix. Again, we had this conversation. She feels like she's the most broken character in the game, especially at a higher level. She allows you to play aggressively, have the capability of getting out whenever she wants to, with her flight, with her dash, her stun, constant damage, constant pressure. But compared to Hela, her win rate just isn't there. And especially in the lower ranks, I think she's a D ranked character in the lower ranks. In the higher ranks, she obviously performs a lot better, and thank you for the Celestial and above DPS players carrying her win rate. But it's not looking great. It's not looking great for Phoenix, at least statistically. Moving on to Psylocke, another meta demon that isn't performing as well as you think she would. Obviously, with all the changes that she's gotten, her pick rate is constantly going down, her win rate's constantly going down. And if you ask the Psylocke players, she's seen more nerfs than any other character. I think we should finally give her something back so that her neutral feels fun. Especially with this alt charge change, she cannot be an alt bot. If anything, move her alt charge up and give her some of her utility back. She's been performing very poorly, and she actually landed in the C tier for season 6.5, and I've never seen her this low. Moving on. Next up, we have the Punisher. Honestly, there's not much you can say about him. Shotgun Punisher made it to number 1 on the leaderboards not too long ago. And with that, his pick rate has actually gone up. His win rate has gone up. But he still lands in the C tier because he was so low beforehand. I don't think he needs any more changes. Leave him as is. But if we're doing anything, that shotgun needs to be looked at, because there's no way you can get to number 1 in the world with just a shotgun. Moving on. Rocket Raccoon. One of the easiest heroes in the game to play. He still has an insanely high win rate, but he has been on a steady decline, and it makes sense. Once you remove that penny team up, that penny crutch, you expected to see a fall off in Rocket. He's still doing well, but we need the Rocket players to do more. You can't just heal bot the entire game and expect to climb. I think we need to make this character a little bit more interesting. Give him his wall run speed back, and give him some more tools to play with rather than just sitting in the back line and shooting orbs. Anyway, Rocket's still good. Rocket does his thing. You can't really argue with having a Rocket on your team. A tier for Rocket. Alright. Rogue. Honestly, I've been playing a lot more Rogue this season. She's a lot of fun, and that Gambit team up is still one of the most ridiculous things in the game, but you never get it. If you get a Gambit in your game, just play Rogue. She's fantastic, and that team up makes her deadly to the backline. With that said, she did land in the B tier. I think she could go higher. The little micro buff that she got on her entry dash was really good. I think we need a little bit more of that. After Rogue, we got Scarlet Witch, who surprisingly saw an uptick in play rate, uptick in win rate as well. Even in the higher ranks. I know the higher ranks love to say that she's god awful, but she's actually doing stuff. She's still not good, but she's on the climb. She's finally out of the F tier, and for the first time, I can say she's in the D tier for the high rank players. She just got a nice change in season 7 to make her feel a little bit more fluid, and she's still good at dealing with dive characters. You know, she doesn't have to aim. She can just lock in and keep up with them, and just deter them from living in the backline for so long. All right, we have Squirrel Girl coming up. So everything that I said for Scarlet is not true for Squirrel Girl. She's still awful. She's still an F tier character, and I'm glad that they're not changing her too much. If they're okay keeping her like this, sure. Honestly, more annoying than oppressive, just like Moon Knight. I don't like characters with that much spam and damage for no reason. We're almost done here. We got Spidey. Spider-Man is deadly in the right player's hands, and I think he can carry a game all by himself. He performed very well, and he's getting more and more pick rate, more and more win rate every single season, even without too many changes. I would just say keep it up, and please don't let the Spidey be on the enemy team. Keeping it moving, we have Star-Lord. Again, him and Psylocke are tied at the hip all the time, but this time, Star-Lord actually has one up on her. They're always fighting for that pick rate because they feel like they fit the same niche, just in different ways. So whoever's better for the season typically gets the higher pick rate. But Star-Lord's running away with it at this point. His kit feels smoother. He hasn't been nerfed 1,000 times to put him in line. His ultimate actually got buffed not too long ago. But, you know, he's sitting in B. He's doing what he does. He's good in the right person's hands, and you can't really say much more about him. Next up, we have Storm, and I'm running out of space in this B tier. Storm takes up this last spot in the B tier. She did get some nice changes. You know, bonus health on her wind damage, and the cooldown reduction on her thunder damage, but none of that makes her feel fun. It makes her feel more fluid. It makes her feel more snowbally, but I don't think Storm's in a good place. There's a reason why, like, 1% of people play her. She has an insane win rate, but she's not fun to play. I think that we definitely need a rework. If you look at my Reddit video, they were going a little bit too crazy with the Storm rework, but she needs something to just make her enjoyable. Like, I don't care if she's good or not, just make her fun. Alright, moving on. Strange. How has Strange felt this season, in your opinion? Because when I play against a Strange, he's just doing too much. And every time we see a Strange, better know there's an invis there backing him up, giving him that team up, and I think that team up's just too much. His pick rate has skyrocketed. His win rate has skyrocketed. Strange is a problem. Strange is a problem. And they didn't do anything to address it other than a shield nerf. That only affects bad Stranges. Good Stranges are still going to be a problem. And he had 25%, let me get the numbers right, 22% pick rate in the higher ranks, beating out Magneto? Come on. Even with that high pick rate, he's still above 51% win rate. He's a menace. Moving on. Support pool. He was supposed to be broken, right? He's just not. We saw it last season. He's just not. And actually, they gave him a nerf by messing with his ult recovery time. The one thing that he's really good at is stopping dive with his taunting area. He's able to keep everybody up just enough to deal with the dive of one, maybe even two divers at the same time. But once that field is gone, he's not doing much. His win rate is atrocious. His pick rate has gone in the toilet. 1.6% pick rate. What the hell? If it was up to me, we're getting rid of DPS pool and support pool and just keeping tank pool. Support pools in the F tier for good reason. I think there's only one true Deadpool right now, and it's tank pool. Tank pool is an S tier character. The higher level players have really figured it out. They understand the playstyle. They understand the path on his upgrades. Again, shout out to Flats for calling it very early on. He was a busted character and people just didn't see it. The pros then picked up on it, and now everybody knows tank pool is deadly. Tank pool is a problem. He doesn't have a general shield like everybody else, but when he uses his bubble, immense value. So, tank pool, S tier character. Nothing more needs to be said there. Moving on to the Thing. A lot of pros are calling the Thing very busted. However, in GM and above, he's still very counterable. So you need to play Thing pretty perfectly in order to get the max value that, you know, the pros get out of him. With that being said, he only landed in the C tier, which I still think is an upgrade for the thing. Then we go to Thor. Thor was a menace for quite a bit. But then they gave him a weird change. They took away some of the shields from his hammer push and gave it to his hammer throw. It changes the way that he needs to be played, and people just haven't adapted well enough. He still outputs a lot of damage, but his survivability has gone down, and people can't play as ignorant as they once did. So he took a major fall in both his pick rate and win rate, dropping by 2% each, and I think he also landed in the C tier. Next up, we have Human Torch. If you look across the board, he's literally the least picked character all the way around. But in the highest rank, he was able to get a above 50% win rate, and you only need a 50% win rate to be in the C tier. He has nobody playing him, but when those few people do, they're winning 50% of the time, and that's all that matters. I do think the change that he received in Season 7 is going to bring all the Torch mains back and at least let them try him out. He will do a lot better just because that pressure is non-stop now. Hopefully Season 7 we see a bit more, but if he's too oppressive, he's getting banned. Alright, keeping it moving. 4 characters left. Ultron. Funny enough, Ultron actually saw a huge increase in his win rate in the higher ranks. When he goes away for too long, he comes back and does amazing. He had that 50% win rate that we were talking about, puts him automatically in the C tier. Obviously, triple support slave, but I think he's just fine. Venom. Venom landed in the C tier, and this is mainly because he's on a downward trajectory. He has a good win rate, but nobody's playing Venom at the moment. He is the best dive option in my opinion. Better than Hulk, dive tank, better than Cap for most people. But he's very, very one note. You dive in, you get out. You dive in, you get out. And with the uptick in Punisher and Wolverine play, it just doesn't make him feel good. He's been on a downtrend this season, and I think the C tier fits him very nicely. Which means we have 2 characters left. Widow, I don't think I have to say too much. Actually, I do want to say something. Can people stop throwing on Widow? If you're going to throw, just throw on the character that you're already playing. I've met some really, really good Widows, and the first thing I think of is they have a 38% win rate. Like, what the fuck? Why are we playing this character? Let's, for one season, see how this actually works out. Let the Widows build the win rate that they deserve, because you're making this character look a lot worse than she actually is. Don't preserve your stats. Don't ruin Widow stats. Just lose the game. Last but not least is Wolverine. And Wolverine got the change that decreased his ult charge requirement from 3400 to 2800, which I think is ridiculous. However, it did give more counters to support ults, and I do appreciate that. Having these ultimates that counter support ults, ripping them right out of it is massive. Whether it's Galtrox or Wolverine, or you just kill through it like Strange or Magneto, these ultimates are very necessary in the game. I do have to slide a character down to put Wolverine in the C tier, so I'm gonna put Human Torch lower because he is the lowest pick rate character in the game, so that I make room for Wolverine to go in the C tier. But I think Wolverine could go higher. He's a menace. If you play against a good Wolverine, it's just GG. Now, looking at everything, S tier characters, Magic is the only one that looks out of place there, so everything else looks pretty okay. Obviously, Magic players have an insanely high win rate, so they deserve to be that high. But I don't think you're going to see a meta tier list with Magic in the S tier by any stretch of the imagination. A tier, obviously, Elsa should slide up one, but everyone else looks pretty good. People are going to have their complaints about Penny, but who cares? B tier, obviously, again, Gambit should be way higher, but we cannot consider those ban rates. Phoenix, by reputation, should be a little bit higher, but her numbers are not looking great. C tier looks good. D tier, understand all of those. Yeah, Yeah, and then F tier is self-explanatory. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the statistical tier list. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you at the next one. And remember, this is all off the data from the Heroes Hot List. So if you want to have a conversation, let's look at the numbers together. And we're gonna call it there.